message and stories from the Forest of Enchantments by Chitra Banerjee. Most of you are aware of the story of Ahalya, the most beautiful woman created by Brahma himself. And Brahma hands her over in marriage to sage Gautam. And they lead a happy life together. Until one day, King of Gods Indra notices Ahalya and wishes to have her as his own. So he approaches Ahalya and promises her all wealth and comfort. But Ahalya refuses them all and remains a virtuous wife to sage Gautam. Finally, Indra decides to stoop down to trickery. One day when sage Gautam is away from the hermitage, he takes the chance to take the form of sage Gautam and deceives Ahalya to believe that he is sage Gautam. When sage Gautam returns to the ashram at night, instantly he feels that something amiss is there. Using his powers, he came to know what had actually happened, and he flies into a fury, cursing Indra. And he turned to Ahalya and cursed her, saying that she would turn into a rock. Ahalya was totally confused and devastated, and she pleads to sage Gautam and says, "Do not curse me. How could you do this to me, because I am innocent as you, having been tricked by Indra." Though sage Gautam realized what he had done, he tells Ahalya, "I cannot do anything now," because Ahalya had already started becoming a stone. He told Ahalya, "A special being, pure and powerful, will be born and will come and touch you and will restore you back to life. You would have to wait till then." So finally, when Maharishi Vishwamitra was walking in the forest with Ram and Lakshman, he told Ram to place his foot on a particular rock. And when Ram did that, much to their astonishment, they saw the rock change into a beautiful woman who was as pale as a marble statue. But when she was coming back to life, there was so much of pain in her, and by her expression, Rama and Lakshman could see that she really was not happy to come back to life. And all of a sudden, as if sage Gautam had been waiting for this moment, he comes out of nowhere and takes Ahalya with him. So now, Rama, Lakshmana and Sita are on exile, and when they are in the forest, they come across sage Gautam's and Ahalya's hermitage. When they go there, they see sage Gautam receives them with much hospitality and warmth, and with gratitude looking at Rama for having restored his wife back. And Sita notices Ahalya standing just behind Sage Gautam, her hair grey, wrinkles near the corner of her eyes, but still beautiful, but as pale as a marble statue. When they went inside the ashram and Ahalya was serving food, Sita, highly curious about Ahalya's past, tries to make conversation with her, but Ahalya did not respond. So Sage Gautam said, she has taken the vow of silence for more spiritual purity. The minute he said this, a sudden change in Ahalya's expression that was noticed by Sita, which said, that's not the reason for my vow of silence. Now this intrigued Sita more to know about Ahalya. So at night when both the women were alone, Sita tries talking to her again. Ahalya said, since you had left your comfort and palace just to be with your husband, being a virtuous woman, I will answer just one question of yours, nothing more. Sita, with gratitude, asked her, why should you be punished for something which you were really innocent of? Why is such a cruel punishment you had to undergo for something that you were totally ignorant of? So Ahalya said, whatever the motive be, it is the action that counts. Yes, you may have good intentions. You may think you are doing good for someone or something. But if your actions bring in consequences that are not on par with your intention, well, your intention or motive will be overruled and you will have to face the brunt of your action. So Ahalya made it very clear. It is not the intention. It is not the motive. It is my action that made me go through such pain. Immediately Sita said, how did you ever forgive your husband? How could you forgive him for having done something like this to you? So Ahalya looked at Sita and said, I told you I would answer just one question. So the answer to this question, you would have to find it out yourself. And she walks away. Sita is very much disturbed at night, replaying the words of Ahalya in her mind. And when she finally falls asleep, she has a dream of Ahalya on that day when she was restored to life. When Rama touched the rock and Ahalya started coming back to life, she could see the pain in Ahalya's face, the confusion in her face. And out of nowhere, Sage Gautam comes there to that very spot to take her. As Sage Gautam extended his hands towards Ahalya, Sita could see for a minute Ahalya did hesitate to give her hand to Sage Gautam, even though Sage Gautam asked for forgiveness. Sita was not able to know exactly why Ahalya hesitated, but she thought maybe Ahalya was thinking of all other options which she could take instead of going back with Sage Gautam. But finally, Ahalya places her hand in Sage Gautam's hands, finding no other option better than this. Instantly, Sage Gautam whisks her away. Then Sita understands the vow of silence that Ahalya had taken. It is a silence so powerful to punish Sage Gautam for the rest of his life, so that he would remember the pain he had put Ahalya through. And Sita also realized when mistrust mortally wounds love, love can never fully heal again. Yes. Never allow mistrust to hurt beautiful relationships of love and warmth in your life. Because once it is wounded, that love can never bloom again fully. It can never heal again fully. Two messages that I want you to take home today. One is, whatever your intentions be very careful of your actions, because that is what really matters. Because your actions bring the consequences that you will have to face, irrespective of your motive or intention behind your action. And nurture and hold precious the relationships of love with warmth in your heart always. Never allow mistrust to hurt it. Because love is so beautiful and fragile. Once hurt, it can never heal back fully.